All right, so good morning to the Monday morning inspiration for the joy of creation and the magic of art, creativity, and play. I'm Bettina. I am your host here on the Monday morning inspiration. And today I have a guest with me, and I'm so excited that Gwendolyn Barry is with us today. And she is the owner of and the master blender at Daughters of Isis, which is a wonderful company, and she is creating amazing oil blends, essential oils, and other products that I had come across some time ago. And I had this one little bottle of oil with me, and then I ran out of it. And we had actually bought it somewhere here in the Midwest at some event that I don't even recall anymore. But it's one of those things, these oils and anything that we are creating in the world. So what it was creating here is that I connected with her and I reordered the product. I was so happy that I found it online. It's just really a beautiful story. And so then eventually we started having a conversation last year via phone and just talking and then listening to her talking about her oils and how she creates them was so fascinating to me. And I had noticed with my body also that there is something that is very different, and being very sensitive to scent. And I have cast out perfumes, like the perfumes things, years ago because they gave me headaches, blah blah blah. And so I was so happy about these oils that in my way of perceiving them, there's an earth element that is so different. And so we started talking, and then I said, well, maybe would you be willing to come on to the Monday morning inspiration? Because I love sharing people, sharing things, sharing ideas and inspirations with other people, like sort of connecting people to others. And so you all can find the product, find Gwendolyn's wisdom and her journey and her stories and what she's creating and has been creating in the world. So let me quickly say a few things. She says she's British and she has been living in the United States for many years, traveling, one of those world travelers. And so, wow, there is so much that she is trained in. So she is trained in applied therapy of essential and vital oils for medicinal and emotional healing. She also, which is amazing, she has studied with a variety of indigenous people and shaman, and they showed her and taught her the ways that they are using scent in their culture. And this is really beautiful. And she studied psychology and aromatherapy, and she makes it into an how do you say that? Aromacologist. So she says she is an aromatologist, however you are pronouncing this, which combines both disciplines. And then she became aware that we use our senses to bridge the seen and unseen worlds. And this is beautiful also. She has blended collections of scents with the intention of creating specific qualities to guide an individual on their own new conscious awareness. So her specialties are ethnobotanical studies, indigenous culture botany, scents and their traditional uses, flower essence harvesting and formulating, cosmology, mythology, and the ongoing story of home, our Earth Mother. So now my guest is here with us, and we are going to talk about the magic potion is you. Welcome, Gwendolyn Barry. I'm so honored and happy that you are here.
Thank you for the invitation. I did want to correct you on one thing, though. I'm an American, but I'm a British trained aromatherapist.
Oh.
And basically, I would have to say that that's any of the medicinal properties that are in my oils have become a happy afterthought, because what I do is I create blends for a specific quality of mind, and that's aromatology. When you are looking to create a doorway, and it's specific to memory, what you're doing when you open a bottle of scent, or if you, and scent has many different levels. You were talking about how perfumes would give you a headache. That's probably due to a lot of the synthetics that are used in creating perfumes these days. And I have to say, there's many beautiful computer generated formulas of perfumes out there that are really quite wonderful, but a lot of people are rebuking the um, perfume and fragrance. And fragrance would be a contrived or synthetic oil that can be used in blends, because their bodies are rejecting it. They want to be more, they are responding more positively to the plants, to the plant allies. And that's what's in the bottles that I'm working with, are the different plant allies, the essential oils. And my purpose in creating them is, of course, because I've followed my fascination, which is culture. I believe that we're watching the emergence right now of a global culture, specifically because of this. Take a look at how we're connecting here. I've spoken like this to people in India and people in Japan, and we are bridging. It's a form of telepathy, if you will. We have this opportunity to come to know one another via technology now, where it's not 6 degrees of separation anymore. It's more like 2 degrees of separation. So we are all connected in a very manifest way, and that reflects in the overall truth that we are all connected. We are all one. So yeah, I follow my bliss and culture, the spiritual traditions of our ancestors. Please excuse me. Picked up a little sniffle this weekend, and I appreciate your patience.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us. So we are living in interesting times, and there's a lot of change and shift going on everywhere on the planet. And so you say, the way you talk about your oils, you say you bring in so many elements, and you used a word, it's like opening doorways, like you see them as door openers. Did I get this correctly?
They definitely are. They do open the doorways. They allow us to tap our own memory, but they can also encourage us or lead us towards tapping into the memories, the living memories of our ancestors. And those messages, those messages are incredibly important right now in the moment we're facing, because basically we have come through all 12 constellations in our journey in this solar system. We begin in Aquarius and we end in Pisces, and Pisces is pretty much down the road now, and we're coming into Aquarius, which is a brand new, what they call, astrological great year. We are at the edge of evolution, an evolution of the species, but the planet and the solar system. Everything is meant to grow, stretch and grow. So that's what we're in the midst of, is a stretching and a growing. And one of the most important elements that I've realized, or one of the most important and vital to who we are as humanity and souls on this planet sharing it, is to bring balance back. And that would mean there's only one thing that it would mean, and that's grounding the goddess. It's time for mother.
So the Mother Earth, like being also connected with the
Yes.
earth in a more aware way, more conscious way, which your products, your oils can help with.
They're specifically, I work with, when I begin to blend a culture, I call on my my guidance, my spiritual guidance, and it's been a journey that's getting close to 30 years now. We started out as a little shop in Pompano Beach, Florida, my sister and I, and she brought her big love child there was an herb room. And by the time that we were at the end of our journey there, we had over 300 different loose herbs and roots and flowers and on the shelf. And I found early on, when I began to put my hands in the jars to measure out herbs for people, something was happening. I was connecting. It's really quite funny because I don't have what you call a green thumb. But when I put my hands in those jars, something began to wake up in me. And being who I am, I ran to learn, as much as I could. And it traveled from there to people asking for essential oils. And I had to learn from there. So that's where it all began in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. And I was reaching out to my guides, and my guides said, well, this is what you can do. And it began when they taught me, inspired me to create some macerated oils of sweetgrass and white sage. And I put it out on the shelf, and people were nuts for it. And that encouraged me to go further and connect further with my guides. But it's really been about all the different cultures, all of our ancestors, because that's my fascination. That's always been my fascination. I was a student of Joe Campbell. And those stories are blueprints for life lessons. Our myths are the blueprints for life lessons. And right now, the oils create, as I said, doorways or touchstones for us to access our own memories and to help direct us and guide us on our journeys within and without, in the world in general, to seek what we want, to attain our goals, to look for answers. They're helpmates, yes, but they're very special because they're plant allies, and they connect us elementally to the earth with gravity. And people respond to scent. They really respond to scent. And it doesn't always have to be some pure essential oil or the flower people respond to scent in different ways. I mean, it all depends on your history, where you come from. And scent can be very healing in that way. When I observe somebody reacting to a scent like, oh, take it away, I can't handle that, it's too much. I know instinctively, I've learned over the years that there's something about that scent they need to explore because it's holding something within them that they need to bring up and to face. Because a lot of what we go through in life is, that old mystery school of facing the dark, embracing it, and transmuting it. Our greatest fear turns out to be our greatest healing tool or gift in life. Often, every time, never heard of it not being.
So yeah, to look into where we are actually resisting something. And yeah, scent is scent is nowadays such a wide, you mentioned it, the synthetic scents and then the fragrances and things that are being created. So there is something about listening to our bodies, and then also what is a contribution and what is maybe not a contribution to our bodies, and then but use whatever resistance we have coming up and whatever coming up to ask more questions about it and find out what it actually is. And that alone is a journey also.
I have a very good example of the power of scent. When we were in the shop, it's a little story if you want to hear.
Yes.
When we were back in the shop, I had two ladies, middle-aged ladies, walk in. The one lady was a little bit older, probably what my age is now. And one spoke perfect English, and the other just spoke Spanish, and she was translating for her. But this sweet lady came in to my back office, and they said, you know, our advisor sent us up here from Hialeah, and let me explain. The lady's grandson had been sent to her for fostering because the mother had crossed from cancer in Mexico City. So he had been sent from Mexico City to his grandmother after his mother had crossed, and he was in shock and basically almost, you know, withdrawing within. And the grandmother had taken him to the doctors and stuff, and they said, oh, it'll be all right. He'll come out of it. Just, you know, care for him and such. And so anyway, she ended up coming to me because she was seeking a more spiritually inspired cure, if you will, for her grandson. And I worked with herbs and oils and things, and there was a little bit of a reputation out there, so they came to me. And right away, I grounded myself in my chair, and my guides are saying, you know, no oils, no. You know, I'm hearing this instinctually within, and I was really kind of confused, but I listened with an open heart to this woman and how worried she was for her grandson, and she didn't know what to do and how could I help her. And so what I did was I turned over to my bench and I made a flower essence rescue remedy for her. And I said, you know, here's a rescue remedy. Put a few drops in his bath water at night and pour all love you have into that water as you bathe him. And bathe him every night with it. And then I looked at her friend and I said, you know, I have something else to say, but I'm not sure, you know, I have an instinct to tell her something else, but I'm not sure if it. And she's translating to the woman, and the minute the woman heard I have an instinct to say, she turned to me like, what? Please tell me. Well, there's this roundabout on US 1 down in Hollywood that I detest it because you get stuck there and it's all that glut of, you know, traffic and the fumes and such. But inside that circle, there's a little monument and there's some benches and grass and a little place. And this is what kept coming in my mind from my guides the whole time that I was there. Well, I told her, you know, I asked her if she knew where it was. She knew where it was. I said, you know, take him there with you and sit there in the middle every day for a couple of hours or an hour and just do that. And I said, I am hearing this. My guidance is telling me. And so, you know, see what I have no idea how it will turn out, but I feel very strongly that this is a remedy from someplace else. So she went home, and they left, and I heard nothing, you know, for quite a while about it. And a couple of years later, the lady who had been the translator walked back through the door, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Yes, of course." I said, "So what? What's up? What happened?" And she said, "Well, they went for a few weeks, and there was no change in the boy. And all he ever did was to communicate, was to nod, you know, to his grandmother and such. And he ate very little. They were very worried about him. But she kept taking him there every day. And she apparently made some new friends. There's a little diner over to the side where they started having their lunch and such. And she noticed eventually, after a couple of weeks, that other children he was responding to with a nod or something. You know, he was interacting a bit. And she said finally one day they were leaving and they were getting on the bus, and he pulled on his grandmother and he looked up and he said, "Are we coming back tomorrow?" And those were the first words he had said since he had arrived in the country. I sat down hard in my seat and I got it. I got it. The scent of the congestion, and this was the early 90s too, you know, the congestion and the pollution of the cars. If you've ever been to Mexico City, I mean, it's beautiful and gaudy and just full of color and architecture, but it is, you know, it's not as bad now, but it was so terrible for the air pollution. But it took him home. He went home through his smell and it brought him out. It brought him out more and more, and finally brought him back. And he apparently, and hopefully now, is living his life somewhere in the United States or Florida. But see, scent isn't always about a pure essential oil. Scent and its doorway memory tricks that we run into often. It's about healing. It's about opening your heart and your memory and connecting it all back to what's good or what's hard to face. Or it's that catharsis. And when people talk about, well, you have to have this pure oil or that, you know, with standards or levels of authenticity, that's a good way to put it. Levels of, the only level of authenticity is you. You're the magic potion, you know?
Right.
You're the one who will regard what is real and applicable to you.
And I love what you say. Let me just quickly, I want to open also for questions, but you said several things here, Gwendolyn, that were just amazing. It's like what started your journey. It's like you put your hands into the jars with herbs and something changed. There was something coming in where you knew something was being activated. That is also you being the magic potion, and then following this lightness, following this nudge from the earth or the universe, or you call it your ancestors, right? So what is possible when we all choose that, you choosing also to listen to your guidance and say the right words, showing them the place to go, not even knowing what this will create. There's a trust element that you bring into your life, that we can all bring in and choose. And one last thing I wanted to say is, what if we are right now creating a more universal culture that that is coming in big time, because we all are connected. And we were talking a little bit before how we are connected to everything, and also to the planet. And what are we currently creating that is also coming with this element of, you say, catharsis, with this element of challenge, the element of not having an answer because we have never went through it. And so with all of that, what magic potion can we all be that could change this and create, maybe not change this, but create more ease with it, so we can create what we came here to create, right? And so for a moment, I want to just leave these questions sitting there, and everything we were talking about and touching on so many things already.
Your guest actually had a question, and I've been talking with her as we waited for you to come back.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So keep talking.
You were talking about your digestion?
Yeah, and when I asked about it, they said that there was stuck emotions all along my digestive tract. And I was wondering if you heard of that, or if there was like essence or essential oils that would help release emotions that I may not be aware of.
Well, here's the thing. Every individual is unique, and you have a catalog or a memory, not in just this lifetime, but in many, of sense that you will respond to from past issues. And that's one way to tap into it. And the only one who's going to know what those scents are is you. I would suggest working with a nutritionist who knows what they're doing with that kind of thing, to begin on the physical level. And on the emotional level, working with essential oils, there are a few oils that can be used to relax you into a meditative state where you can go in and look for the issue, or the anchor of that issue, or core, as they say. And one of the best ones I know for especially emotional issues having to do with hurting us, and because I've gone through stomach problems when I was in college, I had ulcers, that kind of thing. I cured that with aloe vera. I drank aloe vera. But at least it cured my stomach lining, and I didn't have to have surgery. But one of the greatest essential oils you can work with is wild chamomile. And it's very helpful, especially in digestive issues. Other than that, I wouldn't suggest anything. I would look at it and what a nutritionist put out, and then reach for, because the essential oil is going to work primarily to open your mind to the essential oil you want. Is going to work to open your mind to whatever that core issue is that's creating the malady within. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, the magic potion is you. And what is it that we can choose that will change? That will, and also what are you aware of? What is it? It's like our bodies are these amazing sensory organs that also invite us to be more aware. And so what is it? And Gwen, we were talking earlier about the earth is on fire and there's so much going on the planet. Before we close here, would you like to say something? Shall we dive into that for a little moment? Like what contribution can we be, as we are talking here even, what contribution can we be to the earth and to parts of the planet that are on fire, and where there's a lot of change, a lot of actually fire and heat going on? what are you aware of, Kim? Is it in any way connected to that? Because our bodies are earth bodies, right? They are made from the elements of the planet. What is your body showing you, and what does it require? And so with all of this, what is going on the planet currently, what magic potion, what can oils contribute actually?
Well, I have a couple of blends, but one is home. This is my home, and it's a very earthy blend, but it's not dirty earthy. It's very earthy root-wise, and it has top notes on it of green herbs. Working with something like that, it helps. I designed that for helping us to connect with, and it's important to realize that when we're working with essential oils and healing, the essential oils guide or help anchor. And right now, with everything that's happening, one of the things, when I come out here to work, the first thing I do after I have a cup of coffee, check the emails, this kind of thing, I sit down to go to work, I reach down within my mind's eye to the heart of the planet, which right now is beating harder than it has in millennia. It is, and that's just physical too. If you look at geology reports lately, the iron ore molten core of our planet is heating up. There's motion there, more motion. The heart is beating faster instead of just, sitting and being. Earth right now is taking a jaunt, like, running right now because change is happening. What I do is I connect with my mind's eye, and using visualization techniques, I just use white light and I connect. I see that core of the planet in white light, surrounded with white light, and I draw that energy up in a line into the soles of my feet and allow it to fill into my heart. And then what I do after that is I go out to the heart of heaven, or the black hole center of our galaxy, and in a spiral I bring white light from there and filter it through the sun. And my crown chakra I open up like a flower and allow it to pour into me and meet at my heart. And I can feel it. I know when that's happened, and that's how I ground. And my intention is I'm going to work, so let me have that for my work, because I put energy into the bottles I'm making and such. But really, I'm also saying my intention here is for the greater peace and harmony on the planet, or to assist in calming the people down in the southern hemisphere right now with all the fires that are happening in Australia. That little girl from Sweden was really quite right. The house is on fire. And I make it a practice and that's how I say my prayers in the evening, is by white lighting, connecting that way. And I, surround the people I love with white light, but also to put out a greater healing. A lot of it is all about us having faith in ourselves to put that intention out, and the ripples that follow are basically, we are not alone. We are all connected, as you said. We are the pebble in the pond, and what we throw into the pond ripples out. And that white light technology, that creative visualization, those healing techniques, it's like Reiki. They basically are putting the healing out there. I think that's real important right now. And it's also how we get in touch with nature. I was telling Kim, you sit out in the forest, and you can connect with the tree that way. You can connect with the rocks, with the river, with the ocean. The ocean will respond.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, when the beauty is also when we create more sort of harmonizing energies in our own world as we are all connected, and maybe this is where we are closing the circle, as we are all connected, the change we make in our lives, with our bodies, with our creations, with our art of living, will ripple out into everything. And because we are that powerful, what if the magic potion is you? What if you are not just a tiny little blurb that happened to like fall onto a planet or something, but what if you made that choice? What if you are so powerful that within you, you hold the gifts, you have the qualities that are required right now? And what have we all been gathering? What strengths and tools and gifts have we, what seeds have we been cultivating and growing, that now maybe it's the time to plant those, to bring them out, to choose them and to be them. And I love this energy, like just tapping into the energy of your oil, the essential oil blend, yeah, that you call home. I wonder, so you have that available if people would like to purchase it?
It's mister. It's a little mister. I also put it into a candle, but basically it's mister. It's something I developed during the holidays too. I've always had a home blend, but this is called This Is My Home.
And so this is, people can find this on your website, daughtersofIsis.com.
Yes, yes.
So where is it in the shop? I mean, you have so many different, like, is there?
Right now it's in the candle, and I have not updated the little misters onto the mist page yet.
So do you have any essential oils or an oil blend that would bring this energy, maybe that people can apply to their feet or to wherever their body wants to have that oil, for a sense of being connected and trusting and knowing?
Well, I would suggest working with, really, quite frankly, the base chakra oil, and using that on the soles of your feet.
Oh, you have chakra oils. You have so many different oils, like, and so many different products. Yeah, so that's beautiful. And then in Facebook, there was a question about white ginger oil. So you said you have that too. So you have so many products. How do people, how can they ask you questions? Like, is it good via email to connect with you?
Yes, my email also, I'm always here at the bench. I answer my phone. My Facebook page for Daughters of Isis, or my own personal Facebook page. I'm available. I'm also on Instagram as GH Blender.
And what is your email address? Just so people have this too.
It's Gwendolyn at daughtersofIsis.com, and Gwendolyn is GWENDOLYN.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, we went so long. I don't want to like overuse your grace and your generosity. And
no,
so
I'm real happy to join you. It's fun to do. I'm real happy to answer questions. I hope I was helpful for Kim. But with intestinal tract issues, it's really important. I think one of the best things we can do for our health, our physical health these days, is to listen to a very good nutritionist.
Cool. Well, Gwendolyn, is there anything else, one last thought that you would like to share?
Yeah, as I was speaking about how I connect up, and work with light. You know, the creative visualization technology of healers, Reiki healers and hands-on healers, this mind's eye creation of light energy is so important. Anybody wanting to connect with nature really is getting a leg up if they use that creative visualization to connect themselves with the flower over there that they're interested in, or even just an environment they're sitting in nature. And you'd be surprised the messaging you can get. It may not be in the moment. It may come to you an hour, a day, a week later, but you will understand and know, my gosh, that was about me being in the forest and, you know, lighting up myself and what was around me and sending love out to it. Creative visualization is the pebble in the pond too, that creates ripples. You imagine if you go and you sit on a bench and you're watching a river in a park somewhere. One of the most important things we can do is bless the water right now. A water ceremony is as easy as your intention to care for and send blessing or love to the water. You can do that with creative visualization by connecting with the water that way.
You can also do this in the shower.
You know, and that's a great healing technique. If you light that water up in the shower, you'd be surprised how many less headaches and troubles you have during the day. And you can use color with that light too.
Oh, Kim, I wonder whether that could be something for you whenever you use water. I do this when I make a tea, like the water that I use, or in a bath or the shower, and just like sending gratitude and blessings to the water. What can this change, you know? Like, this is so beautiful, Gwen. I love it. It's so easy also, like, what if the ceremony is not complicated, but just our choice to be that blessing energy, to be that blessing
It's
space.
important. It's really important. And most people who are seeking, you know, Ted Andrews, an author who been around for a long time, was around for his cross now. But Ted used to come in and teach a class, and he would tell people the importance of, first of all, confirmation. You know, you do all of these things, you take a magical practice, or you create a ceremonial, you know, creation using your mind's eye, but always remember to ask spirit to bring you confirmation that your intentions have been understood or are manifest. And you would be surprised how incredibly encouraging that is, because you will get confirmation and only you will know it. That's part of the trust. It's it could be as simple as getting out of your car and looking over and seeing a feather lying on the ground. You know, there are many ways to get confirmation, or it could be a right in your face confirmation of somebody calling up and saying, hey, yeah, you know, I got this. How do you know about this? Or something, you know, confirmation comes. But that's real important right now, because so many people are reaching for a gnosis of some sort. They want a transformational experience so that they know that there's a lot more there than just themselves, that reaching into the unknown is, yeah, it's a great mystery, but it's the mystery you're meant to take in this life. Getting that confirmation is really valuable and important to keeping people engaged in healing themselves and the community and the greater planet.
Wow. Wow, on that note, this was really so beautiful. Thank you so much, Gwen, for being here with us today. Like, what is possible now? So please, everyone who will see this video in the future, and those who are with us today, please check out the website, daughtersofIsis.com. Feel free to connect with Gwendolyn. Call her, email her.
anytime I'm around, that's what I do. It's my job. I really
Beautiful.
enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people and being of assistance, because every time that we are talking with people and giving out, any kind of information, it's always something we're meant to hear ourselves.
Yes, beautiful. I'm so grateful for you being here and for you saying yes.
It
And
was fun. It was fun. I hope that's yeah.
thank you so much. So all of you keep creating, and I will talk with you soon on the next Monday Morning Inspiration. Thank you for being here. Bye.